OMG, did it work? We'll find out shortly. That's the question of the day in every way. Does it work? Does it work? Does it work? Does it work? I am pro child labor. I'm not sure where that came from. I think I was trying to think of a character who only sees the world in terms of does it work? And then the natural conclusion was, does it work for me? Does it work? Yes. Does it work for me? It does now. I'm Richie McMoneybags. Hey, John Brandis. I am glad to get confirmation that this is fully operational. Only I can do that. So I'm gonna share a production hack that I'm gonna try. I don't think you guys are going to shout at me and tell me this is a terrible idea. I think you guys will think it as cool as I do. But first, let me get the chat set up so I can see you guys, because that's important. And when I say, oh, look at that, that rascal Brian, always talking that one. So far, the experiment of playing the lo-fi hip hop in the background, number one, it seems like it's not demonetizing us. That's great. Number two, I prefer this channel anyway. The other one, I'm trying a slow motion rollout where I'm going to see if individually you get the option to scrub the song. It'll say erase the song. I wish you could do a batch erase of all the songs that have beef, but a bunch of them are revenue sharing. That seems fine. But I guess eventually I'm just going to have it scrub every song that gets content ID'd. Although everything on the lo-fi hip hop seems to be fine. So that'll be a down the road issue to fix, but let's check in on pop out the chat, pop out the chat, pop out the chat, pop out the chat, dance, dance. I don't know if I ever finished my point earlier today when I was talking about whether or not you could see what's on the teleprompter one. I know, yes, you can see that there is a teleprompter over here, but I think the operating theory that I was trying to express is that somebody somewhere, even if there's just a hint of it, the image enhancement software, I assume people can do it. It's all a very long way to essentially say, remind me to be aware that we're live at all times and people on the internet can be rather crafty. That's right. You heard it here first. So let me start off by tweaking some of these settings. Okay, so this guy, let me try. No. I guess that's about the brightness. What do you think? Right around there? That seems about right. That seems about right. And then this outside shot, my goodness, what are you doing? What were you thinking, my guy? And let's make that a little bit more pleasant. It says compensation as this setting, which kind of strikes me as odd, but I assumed it would be, you would just say brightness, question mark, or exposure, question mark. But it's fine either way. Still need to figure out how to arrange everything within grabbing distance. But let me tweak one more thing, and then we're going to talk about clever AI production hacks with Brian Brushwood. Ba-da-bop. So, some of you guys, some guys, hey Niall guys, hey Paul Miller, hey John Brandis, hey Rickard. Sorry, I should have said hello to you guys right at the outset. So we're in a weird spot when it comes to AI art. There are functional things that it does, but there's a couple of things that I personally don't like when it comes to design choices. I don't like stuff that is flash frozen in time. Now I know this is horribly, wonderfully ironic, given the fact that right now I am riding the nostalgia wave and posting clips of peak 2008 Brian with very precisely pointed spiked hair. But as we've talked about, that was not intended to be an artifact of its time. It was meant to be because I wanted to look like Cloud from Final Fantasy or Guile from Street Fighter 2 or et cetera, et cetera. I wanted to look like an out of reality character. But I'm acutely aware of that when it comes to using any AI stuff on the surface. Right now, culturally, as we record this on January 7th, 2025, AI is, you can watch everybody sort of sussing out exactly where they want to put it in their mind in terms of everything from the sourcing of the LLMs. The problem is most people think AI, they just think one thing, AI. And of course, that's not the case. Of course, you have different transformers run by different companies, each with a different set of values pre-programmed in, each with different weights and different slider bars. On top of that, you have the sourcing and the unanswered philosophical question. First of all, there's the legal question and the philosophical question. There's the philosophical question of the morality of LLMs. Everyone's got different opinions on that. But certainly we're watching in real time the legal sorting of LLMs. Paul Miller, nice. The legal ramifications are being spearheaded by, if you ain't heard, like the New York Times is suing AIs for training on their content. The one thing that I could tell when it comes to all that discussion is that people don't tend to gripe very much if the content or the sourcing comes from dead people. Like, they get bristly when they have the idea of a living person is now having less because of it. Now, meanwhile, behind the scenes, if you're keeping your finger on the pulse, it's very clear that everybody's working hard to ethically source their AIs, and not only are the legal structures being figured out, but also the ethical structures being figured out. For example, there's a script writing podcast that I like quite a bit, and it's fascinating. The episode that I listened to today, some of you may even figure out which podcast I'm talking about, I don't want to, if I was being rude, I'd call them mental gymnastics, but I want to be charitable and say that you get to hear them in real time, figure out what buckets to put different things in, and whereas during the writer's strike, they were all very much the company line, the union line of all AI equals bad. Now that that particular window of time has passed, now they're all like, okay, yeah, but AI is okay if you're going to use it. For example, they brought up the example of a pitch deck. That's fine. And of course, yeah, because right now what everybody does in Hollywood is they make their pitch decks. They just full on steal frames from other movies, and then they stick them in there. And because it's not for public distribution, because it's just a lookbook or a style guide or what have you, then it's okay. And the statement that they make is, oh, but no money's being made, which is true unless you squint and think, except for the billions of dollars they're going to make when their project becomes a movie because they pick these frames from established works, which looks a lot like an LLM. That's all the way in the weeds. What you just saw right now, let's take all of that, put it in a bucket. That conversation in the head of the people at home is the very last thing I want on the planet when it comes to anything I make. So we've talked about a couple days ago, or maybe it was, day before yesterday, we talked about the papyrus effect, the Comic Sansification, where AI is becoming synonymous with low-effort content. I think I shared the story of there was a YouTube thumbnail that I got served up explaining the wave particle duality experiment, where, is light a particle as a photon or is it a wave? Answer is it's both, and the split light experiment is how they did it. What I saw was an incredible top-notch thumbnail depicting this problem and what appeared to be a think piece, but then incongruently it said 7 views. And I was like, why is a title and thumbnail this good and this? And then you click on it and it's clearly like some dude in his bedroom talking about it. And so, oh, wonderful. Welcome, Tommy Joe Sexton. You are currently in what I think of as the Rogues Gallery. You are now one of us. We are Borg. So that was the beginning for me. Everybody else is going to have their own version of this moment, where they first begin to associate high-quality, AI-flavored thumbnails with low effort and dubious quality, and they're going to be hesitant to click on it. Likewise, have you noticed that that the early ChatGPT images, all of us were blown away? How many of you guys, hands up in the chat, if you guys have already started to detect that you have an AI detection eye? And again, we talked about this on the very first day. Neurons that fire together, wire together. We're all pattern-seeking individuals. So the more of this we're going to see, the better we're all going to be at sniffing it out. So my job in storytelling is to not let your head get into the weeds on that conversation. But meanwhile, the very best level of production, it's my duty to use best practices and highest quality stuff to the best of my ability. And yes, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. What you want to do is you want to signal that you care and you want to put polish on this and you want to make it visually interesting so that you can get your effective point across in the most narrative-driven way. So I have a new series of video essays that I want to do. I'm not going to say what they're called yet, still cooking up here. But I realized that I want a bunch of images, and they have to be very specific. In theory, I could go out and I could, I don't know, either pay a bunch of money for the clip art or pay other humans to paint pictures or what have you. But I need, like, for example, I need an image of a copier, and I need an image of a line of people queuing up to use the copier. And then this is all in service of me telling the story of Harvard did an experiment where they tried to figure out how to cut in line. And so they would send an intern to either try to cut when they had a bunch of A, B, C, D, E tests of different things to say to try to cut in line for the copier. But the point is I have to represent all this visually. And the shortest path would be to just use, you know, a ChatGPT or something like that. But the problem is the moment I throw that up, people either are short-circuited and thinking this is low-effort content, or they're thinking about the moral valence of using AI. Now they're wondering, oh, is Brian a low-effort person? He does or doesn't support art, blah, blah, blah. All of that is not germane to the point of the video essay. All I need to do is convey in a visually arresting, we talked about gift harvest, in a gift manner. I need to convey this is what happened in an interesting visual unfolding. So here is the hack I intend to attempt. So we'll do this. We will do, I tried this with ChatGPT, and I noticed that ChatGPT has an agonizing refusal to make anything photorealistic right now, which I think is a smart play on OpenAI's part. I think that OpenAI, as a vanguard, as somebody on the forefront, knows that they shouldn't get dragged into the weeds with difficult or challenging images. And meanwhile, Grok is so late to the game that their tech is behind. They're behind in the perception of the mind. So their play, I think they made the right play, which is like, what if we gave no F words and just let it go ballistic and crazy, right? So here's what I found. This is a long way for me to say. I spent like an hour and a half trying to get ChatGPT to produce a realistic image of a photocopier that looked like it was a photograph from the 1980s. And it never did. And in fact, I got banned from pro mode for it. And so I have to sit in timeout because I'm like, make it more realistic, make it more realistic. And it doesn't want to do it. Hey, Doodlebutt. Hey, Scoreless Steve. Hey, Matt Kavanaugh. And so I jumped over to Grok. Grok was very cooperative. Here, let me give you a, let's go ahead and Ah, there we go. Which one do I want to do? I'll leave this one here. I'll talk to you guys here, and then there we go. Oh, yeah, we'll take this shot. That'll do. You guys can see that, right? And then let me... Yeah, that'll do. You guys may see a saucy alert at some point. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit more. There we go. So it creates this image of a realistic copier, right? Now the problem is, if I use this, people are going to get distracted, and they're going to be thinking like, is that a real copier or is that not a real copier? Oh, it's again, it's the low effort trap, right? That's the thing I don't want to be in. There we go. That foot pedal that we set up a couple days ago is already coming in handy. So how do we convey something that doesn't get people thinking about the morality of AI? Pop this down, a little less headroom on there. In fact, we could punch that in a little bit. Awesome. Okay, here is my proposal. Hold on. I'm gonna let me make sure I'm not giving it away. I'm keeping it a secret. This is surprising coming. Okay. Let me take this image of a copier that I finally got. I'm gonna save it. Okay, good. Hold on. There we go. And I'm gonna edit, hold on. Oh, I feel so clever. Oh, doggone it. All right, I guess we'll have to do it like this. It's fine. It's still brilliant. I'm still very excited about my clever hack. Because here is Brian's solution. Wait for it. I'll give you a hint, though. Were you able to hear that? Here is the solution. I ran over to Office Depot. Yeah, here we go. We'll see how this develops. I'm so excited to know if this works. Yes, this is expensive. And you know what? It will require effort because, as Justin Robert Young once said over a decade ago, the internet smells effort. And really, everyone smells effort all the time. And so this is a way for me to get precisely what I need in order to convey the story. There we go. Footstep. And yet, so then this can go up on a cork board or on a whiteboard using a magnet. And so now, as I'm telling a story, I have physical objects to move around with my hands. And I could explain, okay, so you got this photocopier. Then you got these dudes waiting in line. Okay, so next up, we need dudes waiting in line for a copier. There we go. So I'm going to go to, again, Grok seems to actually be willing to play the game. Give me a photograph of a bunch of 1980s businessmen waiting in line for a copier. Or no, waiting in line. Let me see them all in profile. And we'll see what it comes up with. Oh, let me adjust this bad boy. Beep bop boo. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so they're all in profile, but they're side by side. I'll put those dudes are side by side. I want them in a line facing the same direction. Boom. We'll see. Oh my God, Tommy Joe, that's awesome. You know, that's one of those things, we talked about this before. One of the things I love about the internet is previous generations. You know, you're born, you live, you die, and you never really get to know, okay, well, this is not at all what I wanted. So it looks like that is shoulder to shoulder. Not what I want. Each man should be standing and staring at the back of the head of the next man. That might be too confusing. Probably show everybody in a circle. At any rate, Tommy Joe, it's amazing because before the internet, you could live, you could die, and never really have a sense of who you impacted in what way. But to even get a little bit of a hint or a shadow of that is just such a gift. This beautiful, interconnected global network. Okay, this is the same shit. Okay, let me try something new. Let's do... a photo of 1980, a photo from 1982 of people, I don't really care if they're men or not, waiting in line for something. So maybe by starting with a fresh prompt and not having its baggage, we can get something closer to what we want. Let's see. Put them in a queue at the post office. No. I want you to make a photo of this. I wonder actually if... Oh no. It probably thinks this is that Epcot thing. Whoops. Get it to generate the prompt first. Walk me through that, Tommy Joe. Okay, well, that's definitely a bunch of people. Get those people in a line like they're British. A proper QUEUE, please. That does anything for us. This is also one of the things I love. I wouldn't be surprised if this actually works because while I'm making a joke, it's a uniquely human joke, but there's no doubt that humans know what a proper line looks like. Hells yeah, it worked. It worked. Okay, we have a winner. So I'm going to save this to... That's amazing. Okay, and then now I'm going to go back to the app. And now... edits will not be saved. Continue. Yes, there we go. Great. And... Let's see. I did save this as, didn't I? Hold on. Hold on. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking to share content that is on a device that at any moment may pop up with sensitive data. So I'm trying to be aware of that. Okay, so now let's go to the printer app. We'll go to Moments. Oh, beautiful. And yeah, this is good, but it's not formatted. Like, I don't want to... you know what? That's actually fine. So, oh, this guy turned itself off, conserving battery. I guess I don't have to keep this a secret anymore. Connect. Come on, baby. Connect. There we go. Connected printer, close, and give me the print. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Because at this point, like, even if you do figure out, number one, it doesn't look like AI when you have all the trappings in the context. This, by the way, I'm doing nothing but engaging in classic magician thinking, is engaging in theory of mind of how things look from somebody else's perspective and figuring out what heuristics I can leverage in service of the story. But what's great is even if people put together, that's just a bunch of AI stuff, they're going to be hopefully fascinated by imagining. If you do it right, people think, wait a minute, I guess you could do it this way, but that would be stupid. Congratulations. If you ever find yourself wondering how a magic trick was done and you come up with an answer and think, I guess you could do it this way, ... but that would be stupid, that's almost certainly the actual way that it was accomplished. Oh, let's see if we can. Hey, right on. Yes. Oh, let's get this. Yeah. Okay, so now, ideally it would be great if we could have... Ideally, it would be great. Oh, scoreless, Steve. For purposes of our stream, Jason left for a confluence of private reasons, and none of them really belong. They're not part of this story. The Great Night segment in question, basically you see me boo-hooing about how when money for Monorogue ran out and I had to fire everyone, that's what it was. But Jason left far before then. None of that belongs in this story. We're going to be respectful for Jason. That's what I'm saying. But for this part, what we need to do is we need to get that group of people to part like some Moses, part that Red Sea. So we'll go back to Grok. Let's do show this, add to this. What kind of person should be coming in and asking to cut the line? I'll just say somebody asking to cut the line. To cut to the front of this line. Yay, the Iron Jungle. Is it still snowing and crazy in Kavanaugh? Sorry, Matt Kavanaugh's. I meant to say, I meant to say in Kentucky. But just as I was thinking it, Matt Kavanaugh's name popped up. That's not bad. That's not bad. Do we like this guy? Excuse me. Can I cut to the front of this line? All right, good. Then we're gonna keep this. I'll save it. He's even got his hand midway, like, excuse me, can I cut through this line? And then now we'll go to Insta. And then we'll go back to moments. And we'll get a photo. Okay, so here's, I guess what I should do is I should maybe edit this and should it be like that? That way I can place it. That tracks, right? That's a dude asking to cut the line. It allegedly is going to snow here in Austin coming up this Thursday. Okay, so this guy will be in portrait mode. So we got the, now we're building a scene. We got people waiting in line for the copier, and then we got this guy asking to come in. And so in the two... Okay, so this is amazing. I just realized that if it's able to remember this scene, then I can keep building to this scene and say, and now this is happening, and now that's happening. Oh, what a wonderful storytelling motif this is going to be. And so then I lay these out like they're a deck of cards, and then all I have to do is get B-roll of me tossing down the one character, the next thing that happens, the third thing that happens, and on it's going to go. I also, Deadly, you're exactly right. I also love the idea that the copier's outside. Oh. I also, there's a wonderful, delicate art to prompt engineering, which, by the way, man, if you want a deep dive, join us for the Weird Things podcast. That is a show that historically has been about the strange, the unusual, the Bigfoots and Sasquatches and robots and space elevators. But probably to the surprise of exactly no one, we just talk about AI for an hour and change every single week. Okay, so now let's see if I can tease out. Okay. Now the crowd is angrily telling the interloper no. It's like this is how my brain has always wanted things to be, and finally the universe has wait. Show me that image. That's weird. It just said, it just yes-anded me instead of actually doing it. That's hilarious. Make them more angry and dismissive and visibly giving thumbs down. This is the suspense. Those are thumbs up. Okay, so this is one of those things where, see, I'm gonna step it back. How can I put it? Make them more angry, like they're at a coliseum and they hate the gladiator. Actually, that's out of step in time. That may affect things. I actually like this group of people. So, like they're at a pro wrestling show and the villain showed up. They're extremely, here we go. They hate this man asking to cut in line. All right, we'll see if that goes anywhere. A group of people standing in a queue for an outdoor printer, angry at a person wanting to cut line, visibly expressing discontent. We can give that one a try. If you got, by the way, if you guys are playing at home and you have an image, you can send it to me. That's good. That's really close to right. You know what? I'm just going to print this one on principle. Well, actually, I'll save it first. And then I'll see if I can... of people more expressive. Jeers. Jeers and boos. That's another thing you want to be careful on your prompts is don't stray too far away from the actual heart of the emotion that you want to convey, because that's more important than the specifics. Like, I don't really care who the people are so long as they just read as a group of people. Oh, you know what I just realized? Let me see if I can adjust this manual focus at all. That's about as good as I'm going to get, I think. Yeah. They're still not very mad, are they? I love the fact that you can see spaceship Earth in the background. Can one of you guys catch Matt Kavanaugh up? It's basically the idea. Well, here, let me keep my brain on this. Angrier. So the goal here is, imagine we're making slides for a PowerPoint, but we want them in a tangible way, and we want to convey a story about somebody trying to cut in line. They look only mildly disgruntled. Deadly loathing. Yeah, that's good. I'm just gonna write angrier. And I'm also gonna save this one. Save photo. And you know what? I'll save this one too. So we'll generate them all first, and then we'll print them. Yes! Oh, that's great! So now we get to enhance the story. We get to say, in fact, they get so mad that they blank. And now we're leaning into hyperbole for the storytelling, which is excellent. Perfect. Now make them just as intense, but happy for him to cut in line. So we'll see. Meryl Barr is just showing up. Yeah, we're well, we got to set up the lights anyway. So that's why the title is right now. I'm figuring out a production hack idea that I had last night about how to use AI and not have people not have people get distracted by the conversations about, like, are these images made by AI? So we're doing this. Okay. Happier. They love the idea of this man cutting in line. They graciously gesture for him to step ahead of them. We'll see. No. People bow and genuflect before him as though he is a welcome prince to whom they show the deepest of deference. Let's see. Genuflect, show your respect, worthy is he. Okay. In awe of his majesty. The crowd's heart. Some kneel before him. And actually, we'll go ahead and save that one as well. That's not bad. Yep. Save. That's an interesting problem, is trying to keep this pointed at the camera causes my thumbs to not touch the right spots. I might be able to work with that. All right. And then, hold on. Exactly this, but instead of royal clothes, he's dressed like the road warrior and wearing sunglasses. So some of you guys, if you haven't seen it, there's some of you guys may have seen my lecture, How to Scam Your Way into Anything. And what I originally did for that was I just went to Google Images and grabbed a bunch of everything. So it's all copyrighted, which on the moral spectrum is, however gray AI is, that's more towards black. So this is a step in the right direction. That's not bad. It's not bad. I think it got some of the wrestler imagery blended in. Here we go. All right, so save as. Now we'll start printing these out. So now we have the elements of our story where we want to convey, we have characters. X. And so let me see if I can get... Okay, so first we got our characters. We got the copier, we got the line, we got the guy asking, and then we got the people who are mad. Let's figure out which one. Oh, I don't think I saved them mad. Actually, let me rotate this one. Yeah. Is that I wish, oh man, I wish you would frame it for portrait mode. This guy just slays me. Okay, just generic angry crowd is gonna be perfect. Oh, this of course powered off again. Sonic, this is, you'll see the final thing, but if you, I believe it's one of the first examples that I give in the How to Scam Your Way into Anything lecture. It's about a study that showed which words are very effective at getting people to grant small favors, like letting you cut in line. And the example they did was they actually had an undercover team watch an undergraduate attempt to cut a line using a bunch of A, B, C, D, E test conditions and see kind of what happens each time. Hello, Chris Mix World, Chris Mikes, Christy, hooray, Chris. Yeah, here we go. All right. So, while this develops, yes, let's get them saying no. Yeah, this is a good one. So, I just love the fact that, too, an awful lot of you guys, you just came in, and this is a stream where, like, oh yeah, of course we're faking a bunch of Polaroids. Why wouldn't we be? Okay, this guy's coming in nice. Yeah. So we got the wide one conveys that the audience is, I guess it'll be like this. They don't look thrilled to be asked if he could cut in line. And in fact, they're like, not just no, but hell no. I was thinking about Chris Mix. I was thinking as I only did one test photo of this, but I was so well pleased with how good it looked that I wonder if Grok knows who Brian Brushwood is. As a matter of fact, you guys kind of get the point by now. Hold on, we'll see. Hello, Ryer Appledorn. You're live on the air.
on the air?
Yeah.
What time is it? On air for what? What are we doing?
We're naturally, Ryer, you showed up just as I am using Grok to create photorealistic images of a person trying to cut in line and people becoming very angry. And naturally, I'm using a Insta-X Fujifilm Polaroid style printer in order to create actual physical photos that for the life of me look like they were taken with a Polaroid camera.
Man, I thought I was ready for whatever you were going to say when you answered the phone, and I wasn't. So
Score one for Brian. No, well, here, if you want to jump in the chat, you can see what I'm doing, and I'll bring you up to speed. But it's just on YouTube on the Mono channel. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Wait. So. Okay.
Oh, well, you can keep talking. You want me to show you what I got? I can explain it to you, and for other people, it'll bring them up to speed.
So you're doing Modern Rogue?
Yeah. Go to youtube.com/modernrogue, and you should see it says live now, and then I can show you what I'm doing. Hey, unsafe DB levels here.
Oh, hey, look at that. Okay, I see you.
Yeah. Okay, so here you can chime in on this. You know what I could do? Let me see if that other mic is around. Hold on. Yo. Okay. I don't want to put you in my crotch, so I'm going to set this over here. All right.
That reminds me, you still owe me an embarrassing photo.
Oh, I do. That's right, because I failed. Okay, so we were talking about we were talking about the complication of the fact that like what I want to do is I want to tell a story instead of just using stick figures or something. I need to convey the story of it. Well, here I'll practice it. I wanted it to not look low effort, but I didn't want to just use AI because then everyone would be like, "Oh, low effort. He used AI." So instead, I'm adding the dual layer of higher effort weight. Like all good magic tricks, we've talked about this. You know a good magic trick when it's like, well, I suppose you could do it this way, ... but that would be stupid. So naturally, that's what I want to do, right? So the story is how Harvard figured out that the magic word is because. The experiment was quite simply, how do you get people to grant you a small favor? And they tried ABCDE testing. They found a bunch of people waiting in line for a copier. And so what they did was, hold on, we got the copier, we got the line, right? And so what they did was they had a couple of different test conditions. They would have an undergraduate come and ask to cut the line and use the copier. And in the first condition, he would just say, hey, can I use the copier? And like 60% of them, they're like, yeah, or no, 40% of them were like, yeah, fine, who cares, whatever. But 60% of them were like, no, you can't. You can't just skip the line. Go to the back, wait like everyone else. In fact, some people got really upset at the idea of skipping the line. But then they tried a whole bunch of derivations. Hold on, let me print this one out for the big punch at the end. Wait for it. Oh no, it's got to, of course it turned off. Wait for it. There you go. Connect. Close. Print. Yeah. Actually, I'll print out both versions of this. So the goal here, Ryer, is I'll actually get to hold a deck of cards and then like an overhead B-roll shot of me laying them down like tarot cards while I tell the story. Okay. Right? Yeah, right? Okay, so, but in the other condition, this guy comes along and asks, hey, can I cut the line? And the magic word he used was because. He says, because I'm in a rush. And then once he said the word because, the attitude of the crowd totally changed. All of a sudden, they're all like, yeah, of course, go ahead, cut the line, do whatever you want. And so now you think to yourself, oh, well, they must have evaluated his reason and said, oh, clearly this guy has a legitimate reason. He's in a rush. That's why they let him cut in line. But it turns out that in all the different variations of this, it didn't matter how they phrased it. The magic word was because. It went to, I believe, 94%. These are all numbers I'll have right in my head when I actually record this. But 94% compliance as long as the word because happens, even if it made no sense at all. For example, if he says, excuse me, can I cut to the front of the line because I have to make some copies? Like, that's not a reason, but because it had the word because in it, 94% compliance.
Really?
Yes. And so they treated them like this guy. They all bowed before him. Oh, this is
watching that develop in front of me on screen here is a magic trick.
Isn't it great?
It's incredible.
And in fact, that should actually be part of the video essay as well when I do it, is being able to set it down and have that. In fact, hold on. What if I write it? I should write it in such a way that I can begin by just printing it out and setting it down. And by the time I nail the ending, it'll be totally developed right on time.
Yeah, the development of the image should develop with the story.
Yeah.
That's so freaking cool.
Or maybe
I love that.
Maybe even have two of them. One is set face down and the other one is face up and develops in front as I'm telling the story. So I'd have to write a punch at the end, and then I could point to the one thing and then reveal the other.
You know those card tricks that are all narrative based, that are just like, you flip over and you're like, oh, and there were 3 queens who were hanging out with my friend Jack, and you're flipping over the cards.
That's exactly what I'm going for. Is one of those story based card tricks kind of things.
Yeah, but this is so much better than that.
Right?
Yeah.
Also, Megan F. in the chat just slayed me. They say, I tune in for the listen of World's Greatest Con. I go away for a few days. I miss a whole bunch of shenanigans. Now I'm tuning into fake AI Polaroids. I've clearly missed some of the story. Yes, watch it after we're done here.
I mean, yes and no. I don't know.
On the one hand, yes, you missed a lot. On the other hand, no, that's pretty much it. You got it.
Speaking of fake AI Polaroids, why is your Jeep blue?
Oh, I gave it a paint job.
No, you didn't.
Wink.
Yeah, okay.
No, the red Jeep hit the point where Bonnie refused to allow me to carry precious cargo like kids and dogs in it. Between the airbag recall, the slipping transmission, the cracked taillight, and the fact that it was no longer starting consistently, it was like, we gotta buy a car. I know. Oh, but how am I gonna find? Oh, I'm gonna have to spend a week deciding what's the best car. Oh, you know what? I wish I could have the exact same car, just healthy and new and manual transmission. But it's not like that's possible. 5 seconds later, Bonnie's like, it's in San Antonio. And I'm like, bye! And so this one is a 2022 Jeep Sport, and it only has 25,000 miles on it as opposed to like the 170 plus that the other one did.
Oh, slick. Well, congratulations. New car, always fun.
The giant expense, less fun, but yes.
I mean, that's the alternative was buying another car that was exactly like your red Jeep.
Well, and you know what's funny is I was thinking about all the to-dos that suddenly are irrelevant because other things were here in the state of Texas. You can't update your registration if it's overdue. You can update it by mail just if it's on time, but once it's overdue, you have to go to the DMV. Ryer, how do you think Brian is with lines?
I I think you're probably great. You know what? You probably said, "Hey, I need to redo this vehicle because."
That's exactly right. Well, it turns out you can only scam school so much. So, along with other things, when I when I got this vehicle, I was like, well, today was very productive. I took care of the registration, took care of that broken taillight, took care of this, that, and the other. It was a lot of things I took care of.
That's yeah. When that's the punishment for a hey boss not working is having to shell out money for a new car.
Yes. Although so far worth it. All right. Well, here I'll do the rest of these to preserve some of the story. I mean, unless we. Oh, yeah. I guess we could just fart around and do something crazy. I wonder. Do you think Grok knows who Brian Brushwood is? ChatGPT is very shy about making anything photorealistic, whereas Grok, not having any other, Grok has Twitter's or X's thing,
Okay.
and it gives no F words.
Gotcha.
Instead
is it less F words than like Midjourney? Because Midjourney seems to care less than Dolly, but still has some restriction.
No, I believe Grok is making the branding play of getting a reputation for being like they have something they call fun mode where you can mess with public figures, which is verboten among the others. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
It's okay. I'm gonna say instead of the Road Warrior, it's Magician Brian Brushwood. We'll see. If this looks good, I'm totally going to just put these photos up in frames and just act like, oh yeah, that was when, because again, people would think, would somebody create this and then print out an actual, that's the other beautiful thing is most people would not pause to think about how technically you could fake all of this. It wouldn't occur to them.
Right. Yeah, you should do like illustrate each page of Don Quixote but with you and hang it up at the property.
More like the actual host of Scam Nation. More, oh, here we go. More like the actual, yeah, host of Scam Nation, Brian Brushwood. What?
Are we at a point with any of these image generating AIs that we can train them on our own data sets?
I'm not going to say whether we are or aren't, but I am going to say I'm 6 months into very meticulously setting up my entire archive, wondering what it would be like to train an LLM on all my own content of the last 20 years.
Yeah, part of me wants to just like make new audiobooks with the narrators that I like. And part of me is also like, oh, it'd be really great to have a specific LLM that's trained on, specific data.
Well,
so
now we get into darker gray market applications of it where things get more complicated. And while I'm in public, I'll neither support nor not support it. Also, for some reason, it didn't put Brian Brushwood in here, but it did make everybody they look very, I don't know, Mormon, all the women. They're very prim and proper.
They really are.
But at any rate, well, hey, I got to pivot over to setting up lighting for Great Night tonight.
Okay, all right, cool. I'll talk to you later, man.
Okay.
Thanks for touring me through whatever this was.
All right, I'll see you.
Bye.
Send me the pic. If any of you guys have a pic, send it to brian@shwood.com. That's BRIAN@SHWOOD.com, and I will print it out. Any good AI fakes, good ones, I'll put on there. So tomorrow we're going to have some extra lights to set up, but I guess what I'll do is I'll take a break for right now. And Meryl, used his wish to wish for the stream to be on YouTube. That's all stuff I got to talk to Justin about. And I want to figure out how. Here, let's take a look at this. Some of you guys are hip to Great Night. Some of you guys, that's all gobbledygook I just said. But, okay. There we go. Oh, you know what? Power on, power off. Oh, I just thought of something. There we go. So I'm going to dress this setup so that we can sit and make jokes tonight. We go live at twitch.tv/nightattack. It would be neat if everything was in-house right here. But there's a lot more for me to learn between here and there. I will say, if you guys have been following us, quite a lot of progress since what? Saturday? Saturday. Wow. Yeah, it was. Keep on learning. That's a lot of fun. All right. Then I guess that's it, gang. I'll catch you guys later on. Appreciate you being here. Shine on your crazy diamonds. We gotta have a roguish saying, but that's a ritual we'll all figure out. Happy birthday, JC Davis Magic! Hello, Jeff! Hello, Chris! I'll see you guys. Bye.